The low carbon transport agenda is critical. Transport emissions are the third largest contributor to CO2 emissions globally, and in developed countries they're typically, after power generation, electricity generation, they're typically the second largest. In the United States, for example, something like 33% of CO2 emissions come from road transport. So this is just huge. We cannot solve the issue of climate change without addressing road transport emissions. The Low Carbon Vehicle Partnership has played a really key role in this. There have been some incredibly helpful practical things which are now being taken up much more widely in Europe and the world, like the car labelling scheme. We've seen the extension of the car labelling scheme. We've seen their critical consumer research highlighting the factors that people take into account when they buy a new car, really pointing us in the direction to say, actually, very few people are looking for the greenness of the car. You've really got to play to the impact on their pockets, how they're going to save money from buying these cars. They've made some very important research contributions into the biofuels area for automotive, and they've been very proactive with some exciting demonstration activities in terms of the electric vehicle market. Over the last 10 years in the UK, the rate of progress has been spectacular, and it's been particularly spectacular for light-duty vehicles in the last 4 or 5 years. I think it's been hugely impressive. Back in 10 years ago, we were up at about 200 grams per kilometre probably, and we're now down at average new car 142 grams per kilometre. We had an industry target for 2012, which got moved out to 2015 because the industry said they couldn't meet it. We are now pretty much on course to meet that target in the UK. It's been a very impressive story that once we had in place the legislative framework, the Climate Change Act, the European legislation, the manufacturers have responded, and of course a high oil price has meant that the public has really seen the need to move to low carbon vehicles from the point of view of the impact on their pockets.